Narayana Suktam. Uh, Narayana Suktam forms an important part of Mahanarayana Upanishad. Narayana Suktam is considered to be very powerful and important not only because of its philosophy but also because it serves as a practical guide to spiritual aspirants. One has to recite this and contemplate on its meaning before attempting to start any deep meditation. The Suktam starts with an introduction to the nature and glory of the Almighty and then goes on to explain a step by step process to direct one's mind during meditation. The term Narayana has multiple etymologies. One of the meanings is by splitting the word as Nara plus Ayana, that is, one who resides, Ayana, in Nara, Jiva. He is the substratum of our existence. Narayana refers to the absolute personality, the supreme being, the essence of all that exists. Narayana referred to here does not describe the deity Hari or Vishnu, who takes a human like form with four hands, holding a conch and discus with Lakshmi as consort and lying on Adisesha's neck. But the Narayana referred to here is the absolute Brahman, having a universal form, the Vishvarupa described in the Bhagavad Gita, which is beyond the ordinary limits of human perception or imagination. This eternal being, when personified, has Sahasra or countless heads, countless eyes, who is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. He is the source of delight for the whole universe. He is imperishable and is the supreme goal. Even though there is really no gender to Narayana, to make it easy for us to comprehend, it has been personified and referred here as he. The entire universe is personified as the supreme living being. The first verse ends with Aksharam Paramam Padam, meaning the supreme and the goal. Interestingly, only based on this verse, in Vaishnavism, the abode of Mahavishnu, the Vaikuntha Loka, is given the name Paramapadam, the supreme abode. During Vaikuntha Ekadasi, in all Vishnu temples, they open the northern gate, Paramapada Vasal, which symbolizes the gate to Vaikuntha. Narayana is the Purusha, the soul of the universe. On him, the entire creation subsists. To give an analogy, we can take ourselves as an example. Every part of our body is alive. Every organ from head to toe is living along with us. Every single cell within us has a life, and that is the same life as that of ours. It will be ridiculous to say the cell has an independent life apart from the individual. Similarly, if the universe were a magnificent body, Narayana is the life and soul of it. Now, there is a difference here. Even though every living cell in us has the same life as that of us, we are not aware of it. For instance, currently there could be a battle going on inside of us where our antibodies are fighting against some germs. However, we are not aware of it. Similarly, our brain is taking hundreds of decisions to control and coordinate our systems as we speak. But we have no clue those are happening. But Narayana is fully aware of everything that goes on in this creation. There is not even an iota of anything that is not aware, that he is not aware. That is why, to clarify this, it is said he has infinite heads, infinite eyes, and so on. He is the witness of all. We, just like the living cells in our body, due to ajnana, are also unaware that our nature is same as that of the Supreme Being. To relieve us of this ajnana, Narayana Suktam suggests us to meditate on this eternal being, which leads us to jnana. How interesting. Narayana is the goal of meditation. Narayana is the meditator, and Narayana is also the meditation. Although Narayana is everywhere, there are certain places where this manifestation is evident. One need not search across the universe. He is there within one's own heart, in the form of an inverted lotus bud. A finger span below the Adam's apple and above the navel is the seat of this absolute consciousness. The whole universe, which is just a projection of our mind, dwells in this place. This is the Sushumna Nadi, as specified in Yoga Sastras, which is mentioned here as surrounded by garland of flames. This is the vital force that is responsible for all the physical and mental activities. This is the source of our energy, which is the fire that spreads through every nook and corner of our body, making us feel alive. The jiva, we, the individuals, are entangled in worldly affairs and enjoyment of material life, deluded and diverted from knowing the nature of our own self. Even in this state, one experiences this bliss for a fraction of a time, just like a narrow streak of lightning flashing in the gloomy clouds. We can look at another example. Consider a thick window curtain covering a bright daylight through a window. If it's an old curtain, there could be one or two small holes in that. From these holes, one could see the rays of sunlight. The pleasures we experience from the material enjoyments are like these rays of light. Even though the source of the pleasure is from the eternal blissful self, it appears as if the pleasure is obtained through the external objects. This is something like thinking the rays of light from the holes are due to the curtain. Our real and eternal nature is like the unrestricted bright daylight. We just have to remove the curtain. To remove this curtain, we must turn ourselves inward and focus on the light. This is not like building a castle in mid-air. Whenever we hear such tattvas, we consider them as metaphysical and mentally tag them as this is not for us, but it's only for great Mahans. But one must understand the key message here that this can be achieved by anyone. One can try out a simple experiment. This can be tried by anyone and it takes only a few minutes. Sit or lie down in a comfortable posture and focus on your breath. One can notice a spot in the heart as mentioned in the Shruti. This is where the first breath rests and the new breath starts. You may also observe there is a short pause between any two breaths. In that spot, during that pause, there is a fractional moment of peace. That is the seat of the Supreme, and that is Narayana. When one practices meditation long enough, this becomes more obvious. It is this Narayana who is known by many names, Brahma, Shiva, Hari, Indra, and so on. He is the material and efficient cause of this creation. He is the supreme, self-luminous, pure consciousness. There is nothing apart from him. By meditating on him, one attains him. Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
Extremely